In this video, we'll be exploring LeetCode's daily question for August 1st. It's about Pascal's triangle. Our input would be the number of rows, and the output should be a list, where each item in the list is the numbers that this row has. So for example, this is if we have 5 rows, the output should be 1, then 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. Okay, so how do we form the next row? So the elements in the middle are the addition of whatever is in the previous row. So this item, for example, is the addition of 1 plus 1. And then this one is the addition of 3 plus 3. So whatever is the element just before and the element just after. So let's see how we could approach this. They also said that the number of rows is between 1 and 30. So we could put an initial condition where the output will be always at least 1. So we could start with that, and then I'll create another list called new. That list would be empty. So if the number of rows is greater than or equal to, we'll do some calculations, else it would just return that output. If it wasn't greater than or equal to, then it's just 1, and then it's just the first row. So I will create a new list called previous. So I'll store whatever is in the previous row. So if we are calculating this row, then previous will store this row. So we're just starting out, so the previous row is this one. Okay. For I in range 1 to number of rows, so we'll start calculating um, each row's list. We didn't start from 0 as the first row, which has the index 0 is 1, and we already had that. Okay, so I will append 1. So the start of each row is always 1, and the end of each row is always 1. So I will append to our new row 1, and then after whatever calculations we do, I will also append 1. So that will make sure that our row starts with 1 and ends with 1. Okay, let's see what we have in the middle to calculate whatever elements we have. So for L in range 0 to length of the previous row minus 1. So now we'll add the stuff that were in the previous row. So we need that element and that element, for example. Okay, let's do it in here to be more clear. Okay, so we want to calculate this 3. So it's the addition of the previous row index 0 plus the previous row index 1. So that's why we did that. So L starts from 0, which will be that element, and then we'll add the next element to it. Okay, and then what will be the end, the ending index? So for example, this row is 3 elements, so its length is 3. Now we'll only calculate that one. We won't calculate that one, as we said that will just append 1. Okay. So the last index will be, we want the last index to be that 1, as we always add 1 in order to get the next element. So the index of that element is, so that row is 3 elements. The index of that element is 1. And the range function doesn't include the last element. So the length is 3. Length of the previous minus 1 is 2, and then the last element that we'll actually calculate, or we'll actually get, is 1. So that row calculates previous of L will be 1, which is our last thing, and then plus previous L plus 1, that will get us that 1. Okay, and then we'll append our 1, and then after each row calculation, we'll append to our list that's called output. We'll append that row, and then we'll make the previous row be our new row, and then empty the new row in order to calculate it in the next iteration.